All right, we are live. I came on a few minutes early, so I'll give everybody some time to hop in. The plan today is just to walk through some thoughts, answer some questions. There's a lot going on this week with Monkey Knife Fights, with DraftKings, and this is a really tough, tight card. Everybody is super affordable in DraftKings. The significant strike lines in Monkey Knife Fight are rock solid. The betting odds are solid. So this is a tricky card. We've had, 200,000 questions today in the comments. So figured we'd go live, answer some questions, do some interaction, hang out for about an hour or so before we all just relax and watch some fights. So if you have questions specific to your lineups, your Monkey Knife Fight lines, or anything like that, feel free to jump in. Let me know. I'll be here for about an hour going through all of that. I'll pull up the lineups, Monkey Knife Fight lines, and take care of all that and jump right in. So give everybody a few minutes to settle in. I popped on probably about 10 minutes early just to make sure this all worked the way it was supposed to work. Usually Jacob does this stuff, but he's running errands, which means napping. So I'm doing it, and we'll jump in, answer some questions, and get right to it. So my plays this week, if you want to talk about Monkey Knife Fights and DraftKings, so I did a little bit of everything, as I always do. I did quite a few bets, but not as many as I normally do. And if you notice, I scaled back on the props. I like prop bets. Prop bets are fun. It's a nice, easy way to get a bunch of odds, better odds. But, man, they're so specific, and that's what gets so frustrating, right? If I know fighter A is going to win, but the odds aren't really great to put a ton of money on fighter A, all right, well, now I'll say fighter A will probably win a decision. Now, all of a sudden, I'm screaming at the TV, rooting for a fighter to win a decision or something incredibly specific. And if they win a different way, I'm annoyed. So I like props when I'm pretty confident. Otherwise, lately, I've been doing a lot more Monkey Knife Fight. It's fantasy. It's not gambling. But I feel like I have more control. It doesn't matter what the judges do. I have more control. I just am basing it on how many significant strikes I think that fighter will land. And I like it. I triple my money every single time. I'm just rooting for action or, for the fight to go the way I'm expecting, and not something super specific. So we did the fighting break or the betting guide breakdown. We walked through all of our bets. Jacob went crazy this week with the bets. He had like 20-something, 30-something bets, more than I've ever seen him do before. So Jacob's very busy with the bets this week, but a lot of that was on his lock of the week, which is going to be, he's incredibly confident. I think it's a little trickier than he thinks it is. So I think Chikagian is very smart. She has a very high fight IQ. She knows how to win fights, and she's willing to put herself in uncomfortable positions to win fights. We saw her beat the older Antonina Shevchenko by doing that. She's not a grappler. Chikagian is not a grappler, but she knew, I'm probably not going to outstrike a Shevchenko sister, so I need to go out there with a different game plan, and that's what she did. And she won that fight, and she won it, very easily, and it was very clear. So this fight is similar, right? She's fighting somebody with a ton of power. She's fighting somebody who has a very credentialed in jiu-jitsu, but the wrestling isn't great. So I would not be surprised if when Chikagian got into some trouble, she'd shoot some takedowns, work on her grappling. We talked about it this week. Jacob was talking about how Michael Chandler said he's the best anti-jiu-jitsu wrestler in MMA. I wouldn't be surprised if Chikagian did something similar, right? If things didn't go well on her feet, shoot those takedowns, elbows in, hips down, and avoid submissions. But I am confident in Jacob's lock of the week. I'm confident we're all going to get the free $10. But I don't think it's as easy as Jacob's saying so. So you guys let me know if you guys think Caitlin Chikagian is just going to get absolutely blown through. Jacob's Viviana Rougeau lock of the week is going to get it done. Let me know. I know we all need it, right? We all want that free $10. It's literally $10 free if she wins her fight. No strings attached other than you got to play to win. So I think that will happen. I'm a little nervous that Chikagian is going to adapt, make changes, feel the power, and then make some adjustments along the way. So I think we have a good night of fights ahead of us. I mentioned before, these are super tight. A lot of these fights can go either way, genuinely, either way. Even in the fights with the wild odds differences, I think like the Mazzani fight. I think Gina Mazzani can win. She's obviously a grappler and she's fighting a striker, so she can definitely win. The question is, can she grapple when she's getting punched in the mouth? Because we've seen her cower away. We've seen her afraid to get hit. So she moves out of the way. She covers up. She turns her head. And I think if she does that, she's going to get stopped. So that's why a lot of you in the comment section, hey, why didn't you go with Gina Mazzani? She scores a ton of points when she wins. She's a big favorite here. Why didn't you guys draft her? Well, first of all, I think she's 2-5 in the UFC. Second, she was a fortune. She was like $9,300. Her overall record is 7-4. So this is somebody who's lost quite a bit. Somebody who's comfortable losing. It's a lot of money to spend on somebody who has lost many different ways. And specifically, you can't just look at numbers. You can't just look at odds. I know a lot of you, especially a lot of the people here for DraftKings, are very numbers focused. And that is helpful. The problem is if you look at just numbers, somebody like Gina Mazzani, for example, her DraftKings numbers are actually okay because when she wins, she just grapples nonstop. Tons of takedowns, which is a lot of points. When she's on top, she is pretty busy, which is a good amount of points. Now in 2021, we have control time, which is a decent amount of points. So you guys that are very focused on the numbers would see somebody like a Gina Mazzani, see that she scores a lot in DraftKings, see that she's expensive, so she's a big favorite. She's got to win. But the reality is you got to look at the matchups. And styles make fights, and you have to take that into account. And I think all of us, or I'm positive, all of us avoided her because she doesn't like to get hit. And even though there is a path to victory with the grappling, a very clear path, the fact that she turns away when she gets hit, she backs up, she cowers, is bad news. And she could get crumbled, she can get hit, feel the power, and just fall apart. So we all avoided her. That was one of the most asked questions that I saw in the comments today was, why didn't you guys pick up Mazzani? Why isn't Mazzani in your lineups? That is why. There's too many risks there. David Ramon, today's the day Charles Oliveira wins the UFC lightweight championship. Yeah, man, he certainly can. I'm going with Chandler here, but this is a razor thin fight. Almost all of these fights are razor thin. The reason I went with Chandler, and I broke it down already, was Chandler is a champion, a tried and true champion. He's been the best on the planet more than one time. Charles Oliveira has been one of the best people on the planet for a long time, but he's never been able to get over that hump. He always loses to those top tier guys. So it's funny, you go through his record and you say, you go through his record and you say, wow, Charles Oliveira fought some of the best people on the planet. Charles Oliveira has only lost to some of the best people on the planet. And that's amazing. The problem is he's about to fight another best person on the planet. And I think he's just one tier under that. I think Michael Chandler gets it done. With that being said, it's an interesting matchup because I think Charles Oliveira is he is the more well-rounded fighter. He's the cleaner striker. He has much better kicks. He definitely doesn't have the power edge, but he has his own version of power. And he's the jiu-jitsu threat. Where if we look at Michael Chandler has just the true raw power, one-punch power. Michael Chandler has the wrestling, absolutely. But he's not going to submit. He'll never submit Charles Oliveira. And he's not going to outstrike Charles Oliveira. If it's a striking match, I'm hoping that Michael Chandler lands the big one because he's not going to outpoint him. He's not going to outstrike him there. So, David, it's very possible that Charles Oliveira leaves tonight the UFC lightweight champion of the world. But it's also very possible that Michael Chandler either blows right through him or grinds out just a dirty, ugly wrestling win. We haven't seen Charles do that, or we haven't seen Michael Chandler do that in a little while, but he's 100% capable of it, and he's not a stupid man. J2 Fly TV, Chandler will KO Oliveira with a nasty punch in less than 3.5 is a bet. Maybe even less than 2.5. Jacob, what's up, my guy? Yeah, Jacob, I saw your comments. I'm just in my flow, man. I'm in my flow. I saw your comments. I love the emojis. We got the more, the less. More Angelo. Oh, thank you so much. Chandler, first round KO where he loses. Yeah, I mean, that's certainly possible. Chandler Joe Todoro, I'm excited and nervous for tonight. Yeah, 100%. That perfectly sums it up. I am excited and I'm nervous. I got a lot of money on a lot of different things. We have some bets. The bets this week, I scaled it back a little bit because this is a razor thin week. Anybody can win any of these fights. I went all in on Monkey Knife Fight. I mean, I spent more than I should, and hopefully my wife's not listening. But I put a bunch of money there because I think that's the play this week. I think it's safer for me to pick how many punches are going to land than it is to do some crazy prop bets on the betting side of things. Oh my gosh, 1337. I want Chandler to win, but I think Oliveira gets it. Yeah, I mean, I bet if I did a poll right now, we're probably split down the middle how that fight goes, and as we should be. That's an awesome matchup. A lot of people are dogging this card, and you could even see it sort of in our views and stuff like that. Our views are all up, but they're not like exponentially pay-per-view up, and I think a lot of people are not excited about the card, but they should be. This is an awesome card. Every single fight is legitimately exciting on this card. There's just not the giant names. Alan Wang, Pickett. Yeah, that Pickett fight is interesting. The Wright Pickett fight is interesting. Pickett was my pick. So when we did the full 2-hour breakdown and then I chop it up and upload it that way, Pickett was my pick to win literally because of durability. Pickett's not a finisher. I don't think he's going to get that one-punch knockout. I don't think Pickett's going to blast through Wright or anything, but he is very durable and he has his own set of skills. So I don't think Pickett's going to get put away, and I think that durability is the reason he will win that fight. Dan went with Wright. Wright is in Dan's lineup. Dan's going with Wright because Wright has the stoppage upside. Wright can get the stoppage. Good possibility Wright will get the stoppage, but Pickett is very, very durable. Brent Hinson with the Angelo emoji and the We Want Picks $sign emoji. We put a $sign at the end because we hope you make money. Very, very clever on my part. David Ramon. I had 1,000 DraftKings bucks left in my lineup. Yeah, this was the week where you do not care about your budget. In your DraftKings lineup, you could have $2,000 left over and you could still do really well. This is not a week where you need to worry about the budget in DraftKings. These were the most affordable DraftKings lines I have ever seen in any card. We only had 3 people over $9,000, and one of them was a last-minute replacement. Jacob with the super chat. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Number 1 fan. Oh, thank you, Jacob. You'll be over here tonight watching the fights with me, Jacob. We'll see what a fan you are. Jacob said, David, my original lineup on Monday had 1,300 left over. Yeah, again, money left over in lineups this week is not a factor. And it's hard to get that out of your head. It's hard to get that out of your head. It really is. I mean, you look at your lineup, you feel like it's your own real money and you need to spend every penny of it, but you don't. You don't. You need the 6th highest scoring fighters. The 6 highest scoring fighters could all be $7,000 fighters. So you got to chase stoppages in your lineups. You know, usually you use most of your money because there's usually some giant favorites that are guaranteed for some big points, but not this card, not this week. J2 Fly, you're going with Chandler. Alan Huang, durable is good enough for me. Yeah, especially in that fight. You're talking about the Pickett Wright fight. Durable is going to be the differentiator in that fight. Joe Todoro, this ain't no guess. That's why it's going to be lock of the week. A lot of stuff is riding on Jacob's lock of the week. First of all, his personal finances are riding on his lock of the week. I've never seen him bet that much money before. I don't know how much money it is, but I've never seen him place that many bets before on a card at all, let alone that many on one single person. So it's going to be nerve-wracking for Jacob for sure. And all of us are depending on Jacob's lock of the week to win, so we get that 10 free bucks. Listen, I'll take 10 all day. I'm not going to do the whole wild spiel. Jacob gives me a hard time when I go in and out of it. But if you never played Monkey Knife Fight, go to the URL in the pretty little thing around me here. Use the promo code. They'll instantly match your money. So deposit 20 bucks, right? Normal amount of money. They'll give you 20. You now have 40 bucks. Play that. Jacob's lock of the week wins. Your play wins. All of a sudden, you have 60 from winning. Another 10 from then. That's 70 plus your original 20. You have 90 bucks. You put in 20. You leave with 90. And you never risked any of your own actual money. All of that is riding on Jacob. So Jacob, Don't let us down. Who was the lock of the week again? Yeah, it was Viviane Araújo. That's the lock of the week. So everybody watch that fight. And if she doesn't win, this is no horseshoes or hand grenades this week, Jacob. Jacob's gone on a limb in the past. He's picked some big underdogs for his lock of the week. He hits most of them, as much of a hard time as I give him. He actually hits a lot of them. He has lost a few, but those few were like right there. Could have won had the other person almost stopped. And you know, it's impressive when that happens. Not this week. This is not horseshoes. This is not hand grenades. We either hit the lock of the week and get our free money, or we don't. So a lot of pressure on Jacob. We will absolutely give you his Venmo and his home address if he lets you down. David Raymond, Jacob, it feels weird having so much left over, but it's a very weird card. Yeah, we mentioned that before. I mean, budget does not matter this week. There's a lot of money left over. I could have almost done anything I wanted to this week. There was very few lineups that I built where I had to make tough decisions. My tough decisions were not money-based. It was, who the hell's going to win this fight? J2 Fly, he's going to give Oliveira some feints, make him bite, and crack him after he goes low with a couple of leg kicks back and forth. Yeah, I think Michael Chandler, that's got to be the path, right? He has to threaten with the wrestling, because if he doesn't threaten with the wrestling and he lets Oliveira settle in and land those leg kicks, he doesn't have a chance. I mean, it's funny because Edson Barbosa's on this card. Edson Barbosa and Charles Oliveira fight the exact same way. Charles Oliveira is the better grappler for sure, but they fight the same way. And those leg kicks are deadly. They're deadly. And both of them, to win their fights, need to plant and hammer those leg kicks. Anytime Michael Chandler comes close, Oliveira needs to crack him with a leg kick and make him pay. That is how he's going to slow him down. That's how he's going to get rid of the wrestling threat and get rid of the power. You want to get rid of somebody's power, you chop the legs. So that's how you beat Michael Chandler. But Michael Chandler has to threaten with the wrestling so that Charles Oliveira is uncomfortable and can't plant those legs and can't commit to those leg kicks. Because if he commits to a kick and Michael Chandler catches one, runs right through it, now he's going to be a little tentative to kick. So, tricky fight. Guys, keep letting me know who you think wins that. And the co-main event is what I'm most curious about. What do you guys think in the co-main event? Oh, it's tricky, man. It is tricky. And it's only tricky because... what the hell's his name? Tony Ferguson is crazy. That's why it's tricky. Is he good crazy or bad crazy this week? I don't know. David Raymond, Angelo, I put an accent in my name specifically for you, and you still listen, man. It is. I see the tilde over the A. It's got to be over the O. It's not Ra-man. It's Ramon. I need an E or something. I'll try. I'm genuinely trying. I just sound things out phonetically. I see the letters. I say them. I'm Ron Burgundy. If it's on the screen, I'm reading it. Who's the lock? Another person asked, who's the lock? Viviane Araújo is the lock of the week. If Viviane Araújo wins and you played Monkey Knife Fight, they will give you $10 free. That's it. Straight up, $10 in your account. All you had to do was play. All she had to do was win $10 free. So definitely go get in on that before that runs up. That's only for this week. That is not an ongoing promotion they're doing with us. That's not every single week. What's Jacob's lock? That is just this week. They're testing it out. If it's super successful, and they don't care, success to them is how many people do it. Success isn't, oh, did we take their money, right? We deal with the marketing team, and the marketing team just wants as many people as possible to play. The accountants might not be happy with the picks that we're giving you and how well you guys are doing, but the marketing people are very happy. So play it. And then hopefully they'll do more promotions like that with us and you get more free money every week. Ferguson for the KO TKO. Yeah, I mean, it's literally, I could say this about every fight in the card, but the co-main event, there is literally no outcome that would be surprising. Like, would you be surprised by any outcome in tonight's co-main event? If Dariush goes out there and knocks out Tony Ferguson, is that really, it'd be surprising because Tony Ferguson has the chin from hell. But it wouldn't be that surprising. The beating he took from Gagey, his last fight, he looked like crap. It wouldn't be surprising. If Tony went out there, did his wild spinning nonsense with his elbows and everything else, and dominated, not surprising. Like, literally no outcome in that fight would be surprising. None. And Dan's calling me like he didn't know I was going live. Jacob, text that dummy and tell him if he wants to talk, he can come into the chat. Then we have... Joe Todoro, let's see if I can become 2-2 on winning big on DraftKings tonight. Yeah, Joe, you had a great week last week. You won some big money in a couple of different competitions. And I think it was Jesse, somebody commented on one of the videos saying you're going to follow my advice and do 50-50s and double ups. I've been a giant advocate in my recap videos that 50-50s and double ups are by far the most consistent and easiest way to make money in DraftKings. We all want to make $100,000. All of us. Every single one of us. And I put a couple of lineups in those giant $100,000 leagues. But guys, this week specifically, it's a pay-per-view. The pay-per-views bring out the casuals. The casuals hit the 50-50s. Oh, I can double my money. Oh, I only have to be... They hit the 50-50s. They hit the double ups, and they don't know what they're doing. And this is your week to take their money. Take your lineups. Play the 50-50s. Play the double ups. Do the smaller ones, right? If you start doing the $200 50-50s and double ups, those people know what they're doing. That's why they're spending that much money. Do a bunch of the $10, bunch of the $20 ones. Do one. Do whatever you want, but... This is the week where you take people's money because the casuals came out. It's fight night. It's Saturday. It's nice outside. Let's do it for fun. That's how we take their money. Do the 50-50s and the double ups. Jacob's lock is Ferguson opposition. LOL. I don't get it. J2 Fly, I don't get that comment. You have Edson or Burgos. I don't know who you pick. Yeah, so that's Christian Gonzalez. So I went with Shane Burgos. Jacob went with Shane Burgos. Dan went with Edson, but like razor thin. Basically, the analysis there is Shane Burgos comes charging forward with 1 million punches, very high volume, a very smother style. He takes one to give one, and Barboza has a horrific weight cut. He's coming down. He's been in some absolute wars, and I think he's on the tail end of his career. The big question, the problem is, Shane Burgos gets hit. He gets hit a lot. And Edson Barboza is not the type of guy you want to let settle into hitting you. So there are some questions there, but I'm pretty confident Shane Burgos marches through Edson Barboza. It'll probably be a decision, honestly. So when I say marches through, I mean he's literally charging forward and throwing bombs and making it happen. So that's my breakdown there. If Edson wants to win that fight, he needs to plant his feet as Shane comes rushing in. Don't even try to punch Shane in the face because it's not going to matter. Kick that leg, chop those legs down, take that speed away from him, take his striking away from him, and just chop down the tree. That's how Barboza's got to do. That's what he's got to do to win that fight. Christian Gonzalez, up kick to the face. J2 Fly, Chandler is fast and will crack him when he throws those leg kicks. Yeah, I hope so. I'm all in on Chandler, so I hope he wins. I don't think it's a lock by any means, but I hope he wins for my bank account's sake. But I need it to be a somewhat busy fight because I went the more in Monkey Knife Fight and I maxed out that play. So I need them to be busy. It was a pretty low line, so I don't need a ton, but I need a couple rounds of some legitimate action so I can triple the max play there. Ferguson and Oliveira. Those are your picks. Yeah, so you're going with two underdogs there. So all these fights are ridiculously tricky. David Raymond, Ferguson versus Benil is going to be fight of the night. I hope so. Honestly, a lot of these fights are fight of the night potential. Co-main event, fight of the night potential. Main event, fight of the night potential. I think that the lock for fight of the night potential is Shane Burgos versus Edson Barboza. I think that's... I don't see a world where that is not fight of the night. I mean, those two are just going to go at it. Ferguson KOs Benil, and J2 Fly said King Rob, I see him in Benil's head. Yeah, Benil's like the nicest dude in the world. And this week you got to see a lot of that character. You got to see Benil open up in the press conference, crack some jokes. Pretty witty dude, actually. I don't know if Ferguson is in his head. It's funny because, these are all professional athletes. These are all people that have competed in multiple sports before they came to this sport. And it's hard to get into these people's heads. And I know it seems like it is easy, but it's not easy. Very few people like the Connors can drag that out of somebody where they get in their head and just completely mess with them. But some fighters are very emotional and can sort of respond that way. I don't see Benil being that type of guy, but we'll find out tonight. Ferguson for the TKO or sub, but Ferguson by finish. I'd be surprised if Ferguson won by finished. I know I just said nothing would be surprising. And I guess it wouldn't be shocking, but I don't think that's the most likely outcome. I think if Ferguson wins, he'll slice and dice with those elbows. And I think that's how Ferguson can win. But you know, both of those guys, man, so tough. Beneil has been chinny. Drakkar had him, but rushed in. Yeah, that is true. You know, Beneil, he doesn't have Tony Ferguson's chin, that's for sure, but almost nobody does. And for your long-term health, it is not a good thing to have Tony Ferguson's chin. Let's see, David Raymond, I found Ramon. Jesus, man, I can't not do it. David Ramon, I found that mixing 50-50 and multipliers is a good shout. You can grow your money exponentially if you have a good week. Worst case scenario is you break even. Yeah, that's a solid strategy. It absolutely is. Old man Barbosa lost from J2 Fly. Yeah. Listen, Barbosa's been in some wars. And I love watching Barbosa. He's one of the more entertaining guys. His leg kicks are the most savage leg kicks in the UFC after Jose Aldo. Period. But he's been in a lot of wars and dirty fights, and he's taken damage that is catching up to him. I don't see... He's fighting a young zombie who's going to march forward and throw bombs. I don't see Barbosa winning this fight. Burgos scares me because of his defense, says Christian Gonzalez. Yeah, Burgos has no defense. He doesn't. His defense is the Homer Simpson, right? My chin is rock solid. I'm going to charge forward and get hit, but don't worry. When I get hit, I'll hit you. That's his defense. It will not last forever. He's not going to have a long career, but he's young enough now. His chin is still holding up. He should be okay now. And Barbosa isn't, while he has plenty of knockouts, it's not the one-punch power, right? It's the volume. It's the catching people that's by surprise is where he gets those knockouts. So, you know, I've got Shane in that fight. I'm pretty confident in that, honestly. Christian Gonzalez, the leg kicks are dangerous and his striking isn't bad. Yeah, absolutely. King Rob, Chandler might gas after round 1 and take a lazy shot. That is very possible. Chandler hasn't had big-time cardio issues in the past, but he has had some. And I don't think he'll gas after the first. I don't see that happening. But he may slow down as the fight goes on, and that is definitely a problem because Oliveira is not going to slow down. Oliveira is always live for a submission in a scramble, and a lazy shot is one of the most dangerous things that you could do against Oliveira because he won't be able to just muscle his way through it. He'll get caught in something. All of a sudden, his arm will be tied up or you know, his back is almost gotten. So Michael Chandler's got to be on it. So it's interesting because at any moment in a scramble, Michael Chandler could get submitted. And at any moment in an exchange, Oliveira can get knocked out. So it is a very dangerous fight for both of them. So it will be interesting. I do have Chandler in the main event. Chandler's in my lineup. I believe he's in Jacob's lineup. He is not here. Let's take a look at the lineups very quickly. Look at me knowing how to use OBS. If we look at the lineups very quickly, Chandler is in mine. This first one here is mine. So I'm the only one that has Chandler right now, and Jacob does not have Chandler. He doesn't have anybody in the main event, and neither does Dan. But I do, and Nick does. And David, your question was, do you double up the main event? Doubling up the main event is interesting because we think there's a stoppage. So we talked about this. When you like to double up the main event, when you're going to get two people that are going to go at it, and there's not going to be a stoppage, right? You get two people, you get the extra rounds. So now you have two people that will be competing for 5 rounds, and they're going to go back and forth. They're going to be busy as hell. Usually 145-pounders. That Figgy Moreno fight, doubling that up is solid. There's not going to be a stoppage. They're going to go absolutely wild for 5 rounds. You have 10 rounds of scoring between the two of them. This fight, we do think there's a stoppage. So it's risky to double up. You're basically doubling up a 3-round fight at that point. So the benefit could be that it does go 5 rounds and there's a very late stoppage or no stoppage at all, and it's just an absolute war. But I do think there's a stoppage. I see Chandler getting submitted or Oliveira getting knocked out. So I would not double up this main event. Usually 145 pounds or less is where I'll double up the main event. King Rob, thank you very much for the support. It is very, very, very appreciated. You now have a beautiful crown in the comment section. Thank you very much. Genuinely. Where am I in these comments? You guys are wild today with these comments. Thank you very much. This is fantastic. J2 Fly, I'm a casual. I've been watching UFC since it started 26, 28 years ago. Did you see, J2 Fly, did you see Dan Kramer's season of The Ultimate Fighter? So Dan Kramer, the good-looking one on this show, was on, what was it, season 7, Dan, of The Ultimate Fighter on Rampage Jackson's team. And fun fight about Dan, he was the only person ever in modern UFC to make his pro debut in the UFC. So his pro debut was his very first professional fight ever was in UFC against Matt Arroyo. And he won that, which is why he has these beautiful Topps trading cards. So King Rob, you're a member now. You're entitled to one of these cards. Send us a message with your address and I will mail it to you. Charles could snatch his throat as fast as he can hit his chin. Yeah, listen, Charles Oliveira is live as hell. That's why Dan didn't draft anybody in that main event. Because Charles Oliveira and Michael Chandler can win any way they want. Michael Chandler could take Charles down over 5 rounds, pound him out. Pound him out in the first round, knock him out in the first round. Charles Oliveira could chop down Michael Chandler's legs, kick him in the head, knock him out, snatch up a submission, submit him immediately. So at the end of the day, anything can happen in that main event. I'm very confident in Michael Chandler. Dan just saw it right down the middle and didn't put him in the lineup because one of those guys is going to get a stoppage. He's not going to get 5 rounds worth of scoring out of it, and he's not confident enough in who is going to get the stoppage to make that worth his while. Dan the Beast Kramer by, oh my gosh, it's actually Dan Cosmo Kramer, and it's funny where that nickname came from. So Cosmo is Kramer's name, Kramer's first name in Seinfeld. And I had to write down a nickname for Dan at one of his Bellator fights. So I wrote down Cosmo. I actually thought we agreed that was his nickname, but we didn't. So he's out there in the cage, getting ready to fist fight somebody in 10 seconds. And they announced Dan Cosmo. And you could just see in his face, he's like, what? What the hell did they just say my nickname was? So that was pretty funny. I'm sure he would have preferred Dan the Beast Kramer. That's a much, much better nickname. Dan said if he doesn't get the early KO, we have not seen him in the UFC level in the later rounds. Big event, fans, lots of adrenaline. Exhaustion over instincts, takedowns, submission risk. Yeah, I hear you, Dan. I agree for the most part. And you're right, we haven't seen him in a 5-round main event in UFC, but we have seen him in absolute 5-round wars in Bellator. Go watch any of his fights, any of the 3 against Eddie Alvarez. I watched one of them in person, and it was awesome. He's not a quitter. I don't think he'll get sloppy, right? If Michael Chandler gets tired, which he may, I don't think he'll get sloppy. He might. I just don't think so. He's an actual champion, top to bottom, start to finish. Let's go, chat. Sign up for the membership. Yeah, King Rob, again, I'm going down the list here. So, King Rob, thank you very much for signing up. I see a lot of crowns in the chat, which is awesome. And we're rolling out more and more things for members. While I have so many members here, let me know what you guys want. What we're not going to do, for the sake of everybody, is we're not going to take the content we're already doing and then hide it behind a member paywall, right? We're not going to do that. That's not fair. What we will do is come up with new content or perks only for members. So let us know what makes sense to you. We're going to roll out a website. Dan has, if you watch our breakdown videos, Dan, obviously a professional fighter, trains with at American Top Team with an enormous amount of these people, either past or present. And he has ridiculous insight. He also has copious notes, pages and pages of notes for every fight. So we do our fight breakdown. He talks for 5-6 minutes. But there's a ridiculous amount of notes that don't make it on there. What we're figuring out how to do is to take those raw notes, put them on the website, and only let fans have access to that. So we're trying to roll out perks for fans, perks for members. So anybody who's a member or not a member, let us know what you're looking for, and we'll work on that for you. Dan Kramer, odds say the fight will end under 2.5. I don't like doubling it up. Yeah, you're talking about doubling up the main event. I don't think, and you're right, that is what the odds say. 2.5 is short. I don't think it ends in under 2.5. If Chandler doesn't knock him out immediately, I don't think Chandler's going to start wrestling immediately either. I think Chandler's going to fake and threaten the wrestling and then later start to do it once Oliveira gets comfortable. Joe Todoro, I'm doing my breakdown on the card on the fights to cut out and get my fighter pool together. Yeah, let us know if you have any questions. This is the time to ask. Jill, thank you for my nice Dan Kramer card. I love it. Oh, I'm glad you got it. We only have a few left. So King Rob, make sure you send us your address so we can send you yours. And it's funny with these cards. I mean, I imagine the secondhand Dan Kramer UFC Topps card was not a burgeoning business. And now all of a sudden we're going out there buying up every single Dan Kramer Topps card that has ever existed so that we can give them away to you guys. Definitely overpaying, but we're getting them and we're sending them to you. So any member who doesn't have one, you want one, let us know. Anybody who's not a member yet and you become one, you will get one. Joe Todoro, I also think Matt Mitrione from Teen Rashad Evans also made his UFC debut on the Tough Finale. Yeah, and that was after. So Dan was the first ever. That was after Dan. And he got KO'd big time in his. King Rob, my man Dan Cosmo Kramer, watched you on Tough. You're great. But I need you to sign up for the membership and help the channel out. Yeah, that is true. Dan is not a member of his own channel. And oh my gosh, 1337, thank you very much for becoming a member. I appreciate it. And that support is huge for us. We do this. We do it for you guys. We do it because we love it. But we have goals here, and this is going to get huge. And we're going to do some giant things for you guys. So all of the support, whether it's super chat, memberships, donations, all that support is genuinely appreciated. And we're trying to give back as much as possible with the promo codes, with the DraftKings giveaways and everything else. So thank you very much. We appreciate it. Dom Rushing, welcome to the chat. I don't think I've seen your name before. Maybe I have. I almost want to take the main event out of my lineup, but I'm also 50-50 on the co-main. It's definitely a tricky card. Tricky is the perfect word for this card. This is an impossible card for DraftKings. With that being said, I have Michael Chandler in my lineup. I feel like you have to. And I know we talked about we don't think it goes 5 rounds. But I have Michael Chandler in there. I think he wins. I really do think he wins. And if Michael Chandler wins, he will score a ton of points. He either grinds out a wrestling match on top with takedowns and elbows, or he knocks Oliveira out cold. So I think he wins. And if he does it one of those two ways, that's a bunch of points. So I have Michael Chandler in my lineup. I'm very comfortable with it. Dan Kramer does not have him in his lineup. Jacob Lyons does not have anybody in the main event in the lineup. And their logic was, it's not going to go 5 rounds. And if it's not going to go 5 rounds and you're not positive who's going to win, it's risky putting them in your lineup. So that's their logic. I went the other way with it, but it's a weird card. This is the most affordable card I have ever seen for DraftKings. I have never seen this many fighters at such good price points. You could basically do anything you want, which is the problem because you end up changing your lineup 100 times. Let me know in the comments, any of you who have messed with your lineup more than 3 or 4 times. Joe Todoro, my big bro Dan is in the building. Yeah, Dan's here. He showed up, called my cell phone in the middle of this. But thanks for coming to the chat, Dan. Dan says, if Chandler has a wrestling game plan, I think he will lose. In my opinion, his best shot is not to wrestle and look for a bomb on the ground. I think he gets in trouble quickly with the scramble. 100% agree with you. 100% agree with you. I do think he will wrestle, though. And I think he needs to, Dan. I think Michael Chandler needs to wrestle to set up the big bomb. If he just comes out there against a technical, accurate striker like Oliveira with his head down, throwing overhands for the big punch, he's never going to get it. So he needs to threaten the wrestling to get Oliveira to lower his hands, to worry about his own hips, to try to get Michael Chandler away. And that's when Michael Chandler can come over the top. So it is a dangerous game. It's a dangerous game for both of them. If Oliveira gets too comfortable, Michael Chandler will knock him out cold. If Michael Chandler gets too comfortable with the wrestling, he'll get submitted. It's a very tricky fight. I think if I'm Michael Chandler's coach, and let me know what you guys think, he needs to threaten the wrestling, but the knockout is where the win's going to come from because the scrambling is just too much of Oliveira, especially early when they're dry. Dan the Killer Kramer. Love when pro fighters chime in. Pete the Heat from Awesome-O is good with predictions and analysis as a real-life fighter. He's not near Dan, though. Yeah, we appreciate that. And honestly, that's what we think sets our channel apart. We have professional fighters, and it's not just Dan, it's Nick too. Nick isn't here because Nick is fighting for Bellator in 3 weeks. And, he's fully committed to his training camp. We film late at night. We put a ton of hours into this, and Nick's got to focus on him right now and make sure his weight's good and he's in shape and his fight's going to go the way it goes. But, yeah, the fact that we have Dan Kramer, professional fighter with all the experience in the world and trained by some of the best people on the planet at some of the largest, at the largest gym on the planet. That adds credibility for days, and that gives insight that you're just not going to see anywhere else. I mean, he's mixed it up with everybody. Then Nick Newell, one of the most likable fighters in the entire planet, one of the best fighters. He took a round from Justin Gaethje. Nick's a phenomenal fighter, so his insight is always solid, and he always has a personal touch because he is friends with everybody. I've managed fighters for 15 years, and Jacob is a diehard fan with a ton of research, so we appreciate the acknowledgement there. We do think that having the professional fighters on this show gives us a bit of an edge with the picks. King Rob says, I agree, Dan, but Chandler needs the KO, but I question his power. The hooker shot was a left and set up perfect. Yeah, I mean, Chandler definitely has the power. He just needs, if he doesn't get it early, he needs power throughout the entire fight, and that could be a problem. I do think Chandler wins. And then Dan, talking about his own top trading card, said, I think Pokemon cards, bro. My top trading cards are making a comeback. I mean, the top trading cards, I wish we had Dan Kramer's like futures on top trading cards. It was like 0 sales, 250 card sales, 17 years after they were released, and then back down to 0. Oh my gosh, 1337. I took the plunge. I've been loving your guys' content for a few months now. Thank you. Genuinely appreciate it. The support is huge. Brent Hinson gets promoted, does not join, boss move. Yeah, that is true. We promoted Dan from just pretty boy to actual member, part owner, and he's still not a member. Dan, click the join button for Christ's sake, please. It's unbelievable. The look. King Rob blasting out every single one of the emojis. So those emojis, the super handsome one of me with my arms up, Dan with his fist out, and Jacob with the red beard, all the other emojis, those are only for members. So that's how it works with YouTube. So you members, click the little smiley face in the live chat, and you can use those. Thank you. Yeah, and King Rob, you called them emotes. I called them emotes too. I don't know what they are. I don't know. Emotes, emojis. Dan, I'm getting pushed to be a member of my own channel by King Rob. I love it. I will listen to the people. All right, Dan, let's see it. Dom Rushing, excellent breakdown on that. I've changed my lineup so many times I can't decide if I want to keep Lutz and Dariush in my lineup. It's tricky, man. It is tricky. I have Dariush in mind. I think Lutz is a solid play too. But there are so many ways. I think as far as the person I'm positive is going to win, I think it's Grundy. I think Grundy is as close to a guarantee for a win as you're going to get, and he's pretty affordable. So I don't want to say I built my lineup around him because I did not do that, but I was like 100% positive Grundy will be in my lineup. You guys should make WWP caps. Yeah, so we have a store. I have to sign in to chat. Forget it. We have a store. I don't know if there's hats yet, but the store is shop.wewantpicks.com. Right now, it's a limited edition Arkansas wrestling shirt because you guys seem to be in on that inside joke and love it. And then a couple mugs and things like that. But yeah, David Raymond with the Arkansas wrestling. David Ramon with the Arkansas wrestling joke. So we have that shirt in there. So it's shop.wewantpicks.com. We'll add more stuff. If you guys will buy hats, we'll throw hats up there. Not a problem at all. King Rob, tell Nick to change his walkout music to the We Want Picks. The only channel dedicated. That is a ridiculous idea. I love that idea. Damn, I'm Nick's manager. I'm the one who sets all the walkout music up, his sponsors, all that crap up with Bellator. Maybe I do give the We Want Picks intro, and that's what he walks out to. What a fantastic idea. And you know what's funny? So if you've watched any of Nick's fights, Dan's fights towards the end, all of them on their shorts had WeWantPicks.com in giant letters across their butt. Or sorry, WeWantFights.com. That was the management website that I had, the name of my company, to manage them. I want to do WeWantPicks.com across Nick. The problem is there's no way Bellator will approve that with the UFC content we do. They're not going to approve that. They check out every sponsor. But I might do WeWantFights.com and try to sneak it in and re-forward that address and see what happens. King Rob or David Raymond. Ramon. Oh my God, I can't help myself. David Ramon. Chandler has that Arkansas wrestling. This could be huge. He does have that Arkansas wrestling. I don't know where he's from, but it is the Midwest, and he has fantastic wrestling. I spent that night that I was managing Rafael Diaz. Rafael Diaz fought Marlon Sandro at Bellator. I don't remember the number. The main event of that card was Alvarez versus Michael Chandler. Rafael Diaz and Michael Chandler shared a locker room for the first hour or so. So I spent an hour with Michael Chandler and his father, who's his coach. He couldn't be a nicer guy. He's a bit of a diva. Like, you know, he had like a rider list of things he wanted in his locker room, but he was the main event. Good dude, like just a genuine human being. Him and his dad, you know, they spent their whole lives together, traveling the country, competing in wrestling. So Michael Chandler's a good guy. I'm genuinely rooting for him, and I think he wins. I actually think he wins, and I'm rooting for him for personality. King Rob, seriously though, you guys are awesome. The live stream tonight will be fire. Yeah, so about that live stream tonight, so Jacob's going to watch the main card at my house. He's going to come here, watch the fights with me. Probably no live stream for the main card. I think he's going to live stream the undercard though, so look out for that. What we're working on to get a live stream for every single one of these cards is when he comes over, I have a few buddies come over. We watch the fights upstairs in my media room. So a live stream setup right now would be kind of sloppy, and I'd have to tell all my friends to shut the hell up. So we're going to spend a lot of money. I'm probably going to spend close to $1,000 to get a conference room camera, a couple of boom mics, set it up in my media room so we can still watch it in the room, be comfortable, have some drinks, hang out, and do the live stream. So give us a few weeks to nail that down. So this is a big pay-per-view card. We're going to watch it. But going forward, we will be live streaming every single card, and eventually it will be from my media room in a much more comfortable atmosphere. Let's see. David Ramon, free advertising for the show. Yeah, I got to get that across Nick's butt. So Nick fights June 11th for Bellator. Check it out. Watch his fight. Obviously, we're going to live stream that. I'm not the best person to live stream it. I get very nervous watching my fighters fight. Real tense. I get annoyed. I curse like crazy. Jacob will have to live stream it. I'm not the person to live stream that. Joe Todoro, you think the winner of Ferguson versus Dariush scores high? Ideally, I feel the fight needs to be a war and go to the judges for a good score since both fighters are action-packed. I do think the winner of that fight scores a lot of points because they're both very durable. So it'll go 3 rounds. There'll be a good amount of points there. If there's a stoppage, it would likely be later. And I think it's a war. I don't think even when, what the hell's his name? Ferguson doesn't look great. He's still down to fight, and he still fights, and he still comes forward. He's still busy, and Dariush is very similar. So I don't think it'll be a low-scoring fight. I do think it's a high-scoring fight. I have Dariush in my lineup, but Jacob has me nervous, man. Jacob has me legitimately nervous talking about how good Tony Ferguson has looked in the press conferences and on Embedded. He's kind of a crazy person, but he seems more sane than usual. And that is a little nerve-wracking because we've seen how capable he is. So it's just a matter of, you know, what is he going to end up doing? And how crazy is he? Is he stumbling around drunk Tony Ferguson crazy? Which he addressed that in this week saying no. Or is he the fun, you can do what you want to me, but I'm going to come forward and elbow your face crazy? It's going to be a crazy fight, but the winner is going to score a bunch of points. K. Grom, Angelo couldn't even go to bordering Arkansas states without getting double-legged immediately. Yeah, first of all, I'm in Texas, which is a bordering Arkansas state. Listen, if any of you are Arkansas wrestlers, let me know. I'm happy to wrestle you and then retract the inside joke if I'm wrong. I've traveled the country wrestling either as a coach or as a competitor, more as a coach for traveling. There are great wrestlers in every single state, but as far as just raw talent from a specific state, New Jersey or Pennsylvania's number 1, New Jersey's number 2. Then you can bounce between Iowa, Ohio. Then you can hit up a New York, Connecticut. People are going to say that one's a bad one, but I'll say Connecticut, California. The southern states are not good. The reason the southern states aren't very good at wrestling is because it's warm outside year-round. So they're playing baseball. They're playing other sports. I live in Texas. I coach wrestling in Texas. They're not good. Straight up, they're not good. And it's funny because you can see it at the youth level. The dedication from the kids is different. when I lived in Florida and I coached wrestling in Florida, and obviously there are phenomenal programs everywhere, but when I was coaching wrestling in Florida, people would drop their kids off almost like a daycare. Like these were not the star athlete kids that wanted to wrestle and get good at wrestling. They were the kids that couldn't do baseball or some of the other sports, so they wrestled. So anyway, Arkansas wrestling is not great, despite what Jacob would tell you. King Rob, or Brent Hinson, King Rob with the exclamation point. Yeah, we're celebrating King Rob becoming a member. Thank you very much. And then King Rob said, what are the chances Pickett gets the KO? I'm tossing him in the lineup. Dan, if you're still here, comment on that. I think Pickett, he can, but he's not traditionally a finisher. So Pickett is very durable. I think Pickett probably ekes out the win in that fight, but I don't think he's going to win by stoppage. Even though he's very durable, which is why I have him winning the fight, but I don't think he's super live for a stoppage. Let me know if you guys are playing Monkey Knife Fight lines. Let me hit that promotion up real quick. Again, if anybody here, if you just love hearing me repeat myself in every video. Essentially, Monkey Knife Fight is saying, if you guys play $20 at any point on any line this week and Jacob's lock of the week hits, meaning that woman wins and it's Vivian Araujo, if she wins her fight, they'll give you $10 free. Straight up, $10. You play 20, they'll give you 10 for nothing. Just for participating. It's a participation trophy of $10. So go to the link below. It's playmkf.com/WeWantPicks. Use promo code WWP and they'll instantly match your money. I always say 100. Realistically, deposit 20. 100 is an intimidating number if it's something new and that you're not comfortable doing. Deposit 20. They'll give you 20. So now you have 40. Play the free 20. You don't even have to play your real money. Play the free 20 on a line. If you hit the line, you'll win 60. If Jacob's lock of the week hits, there's another 10. You literally will have $90 when it's all said and done. And all you did was deposit 20 and you didn't even risk it. Check it out. Give it a try. They are fantastic partners. And I'm telling you right now, it is easy and fun to make money playing Monkey Knife Fight. It is straight up daily fantasy and it's a ton of money. Frank Jadun. Hey, Angelo. Hey, Frank. How are you? Thanks for joining. Price Life. Betting is for degenerates. Absolutely. Like filthy degenerates. It's funny because Dan, we do our bets. If you've seen the full betting breakdown, our full betting guide, we all have some bets on this card and every other card we do. And then Dan's got a whole bunch of other bets that aren't on the show, and they're his degenerate bets, and he's somewhat ashamed. He's borderline ashamed. He sort of keeps those bets in the shadows. He doesn't want everybody to know just how dirty he is with some of these bets. So at one point, we teased the segment where we were going to do Dan's degenerate bets. We're just lay them all out there. These are the gross ones that maybe you don't want to do because he's just chasing glory. We haven't ended up doing that because we have so many real bets, but betting is for degenerates, and we're all degenerates here. King Rob, NKF is great, super smooth front end, easy deposits, and even better, easy to withdraw the winnings. 100%. We do have a People's Champ emoji. That's the one you just used, King Rob. It's the red beard with the wave. That's Jacob. So I think you're 100% right with the withdrawal. So, any of you who can bet and gamble in real life, sports betting in person, you can use the DraftKings app. You can go in person. You can use the websites. Super easy. New Jersey is a great example. The rest of us, not in Jersey, have to bet online. We use different websites. We're working out partnerships. But it is online. It's perfectly legal because it's offshore. But getting your money out usually takes a week or two. Monkey Knife Fight, it's not betting. It is daily fantasy. It feels like betting. You win money like it's betting, but it's daily fantasy, which means your money goes in and out in 5 seconds. It's just you deposit it, you withdraw it, and it's super easy to make your money there. David Raymond, Glover Teixeira, Ramon is a good guy, but he turned Dan Kramer into a degenerate gambler. That is exactly what happened. So Glover Teixeira is a good friend of ours. Obviously, he's fighting for a title in a few months, but Glover's from Connecticut. I'm from Connecticut. Dan's from Connecticut. Dan and Glover, both professional fighters in the UFC. Trained together forever. I was training with them forever. Not a professional fighter though. So Glover's a good actual friend, like in Dan's wedding, good friend. Glover fought Thiago Santos, and Dan Kramer's bet was I forget what the round was, second round TKO or second round submission, whatever it was, on Glover. The payout was astronomical because it was a super specific bet, and Dan hit, and he hit it big. And Dan's logic was perfect. He's gonna survive Thiago Santos's immediate onslaught, then get through it, take him down, and submit him. And that's what happened. So Dan won like stupid money betting on his best friend, and he bet on Glover, his very good friend, won a ton of money doing it because of the prop bet. So now he's all jacked up because of the money he won. He's all jacked up because his very good friend Glover Teixeira won. And then he just turned into a degenerate gambler because he just thought it would be that easy every time. And now his bets are insane. He's got a whole bunch going on. We share a bunch with you in our full betting guide, but there's a bunch he does not share because I think he's ashamed of himself and how much money he bets. King Rob, no. People's Champ needs 2 emojis. Oh, boy. Tell you what. Because we have so many new members, I think we hit the next tier with the amount of emojis that we're allowed to have. So if you're not a member, become a member. If you are a member, thank you. Members can use emojis, all these more or less, the pictures of Jacob's red beard. Those are the member emojis. So I think we just hit a tier for another one. So maybe if Jacob's Lock of the Week hits and we all get our free Monkey Knife Fight money because of Jacob, maybe, just maybe, we'll give him another emoji. Frank Jadone, hey, Angelo, how about raffling off that New York Yankees cap you're wearing? No, that's not happening. No, absolutely not. Jordan Bergard, Jacob's head is really big, already big enough. Yeah, it's big and it's red. You should have seen the temper tantrum Jacob threw, and he's not here to defend himself. I had the emojis made. All I did was send real life pictures of ourselves to the guy on Fiverr and said, hey, make emojis for us for our YouTube channel. He made the original one of Jacob. It's this one, but the hair was red and not brown. And Jacob was like, my hair is not red. So he made me change it. Real diva. Sorry I'm airing your personal laundry there, Jacob. Yeah, ... indeed. Big Don's in the chat. Jordan Bergard. King Rob, speaking of Glover, do you guys think he has enough in the tank to get this last one done? I do. Don't ask Dan. Dan and Glover are best friends, literally best friends. So you're not going to get an honest answer out of Dan. I do think Glover beats Blachowicz. I think it's a perfect matchup for Glover. They're basically similar strikers. They're counter strikers with insane power, except Glover has the wrestling and the grappling edge. The only concern is Glover's a little older. Glover's chin is not what it used to be, but we just watched him get cracked and dropped and then get right back up and dominate those fights. So the chin is weakening, but not giving out just yet. So I do think Glover beats Blachowicz. I think he becomes the champion of the world. I think it's a perfect matchup for him. I really do think it's a perfect matchup for him because he has that wrestling, he has the grappling, and Glover is one of the strongest human beings on planet Earth. I remember when I was like 25, 26 years old, 23, I don't know what it was. Glover was up and coming. He wasn't in the UFC yet. And he came to the high school that I was coaching wrestling at, said, I want to wrestle, let's wrestle. So we put a program and we're wrestling. Glover did not have technical wrestling skills back then. We're talking about 15 years ago. He would take a shot from across the mat. Literally just his fingertips would barely touch the back of my legs. And he was all stretched out, horrible position. And he was strong enough to just go whoop, pull it right in, pick me up, dump me. One of the most solid and powerful guys in the UFC, pound for sure. Jacob is telling me to remind everybody to like the stream. If you like it, YouTube will push it to more people. And if YouTube push it to more people hop on. King Rob, I think his chin is also making a comeback. It is shocking. His chin looked done. Like Gustafsson, the Gustafsson fight with Glover, it's like, all right, Glover's chin is done. He's older. And what a great run. He'll have a few fun fights, and then he's done. And then it just like fixed itself. We saw something similar with Andrei Arlovski. Andrei Arlovski had a very similar trajectory with his chin. Great chin. Chin gave out. And then all of a sudden his chin is back later in life. It's amazing. It defies all logic. But these guys are really surging later in their career. And I think Glover gets it done. I think he becomes a world champion. And it would be great news for everybody if he did. Anybody that's new here, I'm going to be on here for a little while longer. I do have kids. Their nap is almost over. If you have any questions, now is the time to ask. If you haven't signed up for the Monkey Knife Fight promotion, you won't need to spend any of your own actual money. Use the promo code WWP. They'll give you free money. Take the free money. Play the free money. And then when Jacob's Lock of the Week hits, you'll get even more free money. It's free across the board. Literally no risk to you. Don't play your real money if you don't want to. King Rob, same thing with Overeem. Yeah, that is true. That is true. Jacob Lyons, who is Nick fighting? Do we know? Yeah, I forget his name. They announced it. Bellator announced it. I legit forget the dude's name. It's actually a tough matchup for Nick. So Nick is the other person on this show. Nick has one arm. If you see his head, but you don't know who Nick is, Nick's the professional fighter with one arm. So he's pretty famous. Once the camera zooms out and everybody realizes who he is, been on ESPN a bunch of times. And then he has a movie coming out, a major motion picture, and he is being played by the handsome kid from MTV's, what the hell is it? The Wolf one. Teen Wolf. Anyway, I forget who Nick's fighting. I'll have to look it up. David Raymond, you guys are the only live streaming the prelims. Yeah, that's up to Jacob. I assume so because he's going to come over here and watch the fights with me. And if he's doing that, he can't live stream. But I think he will live stream the prelims, or at least pressure him into. Any fights dropping before the lock? Meaning, you're asking, Brent is asking, did any fights drop before they lock our DraftKings lineups? No, not yet. Nothing dropped. It's all intact. And what's funny is when they go to these states where there is a crowd, that doesn't seem to happen. We don't seem to have those issues. They're obviously testing for COVID, so I don't know why it's not happening. But no drops just yet. We should be fine, but obviously, keep checking here. Check the Twitter. If there's a drop, we'll let you guys know. Last week, with the Amanda Hebos fight, we got the inside information. That fight dropped literally before anybody. Like, we got very inside information. We shared it with you guys immediately. We had to be tricky with how we shared it because we didn't want to leak where that information came from. We will do the same. If we find out, we will do the absolute same. Jordan says, Frank, it was just a thought. But I don't blame you. It's a cool hat. Yeah, I've had this forever. It's literally falling apart because I wash it all the time. We'll do raffles and giveaways. Right now, what we're giving away are these Dan Kramer Topps cards, 2 members. So we had 2 new members sign up during this chat. We don't have a lot of these cards left. So reach out with your address. You can do that on the Facebook page or DM, whatever you want to do with your address. We'll mail it to you. If you're not a member and you want a card, become a member before those cards are gone. Jordan Begard, Angelo, Jacob keeps telling me about Monkey Knife Fight. Have you legit won some solid money and have you actually had legit success? Yeah, 100%. You triple your money. So I've actually had more dollar for dollar success in that than just the straight up betting because let's put it this way. I maxed out the main event. So tonight's main event, I maxed out the more and more. It's $250 max out. I didn't want to do it. But I had more money. I deposited only $50 to Monkey Knife Fights when we first signed up. That's the only real money I've ever put in. And I just keep winning and winning and winning. And I got all the way up to many hundreds. So I maxed out $250 on the main event. If that hits, I get $750. I started this 3 weeks ago with $50 and I lose a lot. You triple your money. So there's a lot of room for error and there's some margin for error in there. You don't have to be perfect. With betting, you have to be perfect. If you miss your bet, you lose your money. And even if you watched our betting breakdown, Dan and Jacob are hedging some bets saying first round, second round, third round, fourth round KO, TKO. And only one of them is going to hit, so they're going to lose a few, but they'll hit one. Well, you don't have to worry about that with Monkey Knife Fights. Like, you don't have to hedge your bets or your plays. So yes, play Monkey Knife Fight. Scoop up the promo code. Get your free money. King Rob, you guys are the best. Quick question. Where do members message you guys for the Dan cards? You can't message on Facebook. So we have an Instagram, a Twitter, or you can't message on YouTube. We have an Instagram, a Twitter, a Facebook. Send us a message there, right? Send us a DM on any of those platforms with your address, and we will respond. Oh my gosh, you want the card too? Yes, send a message. Both of you guys send a message. I've got to go here in like 5 minutes. Jacob, if you're home and you want to go live, go live. If you're not home, thanks for taking the time and hopping in the chat. All of you, thank you very much. The support is appreciated. All of the members, we genuinely love it. Our breakdown video, our recap video tomorrow, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop that as a premiere, meaning it'll be pre-recorded, but there will be a live chat, and I'll be in the live chat. So tomorrow at noon Central Time, I'll drop the recap video. Come watch it live as it drops live. Jacob will be live in a few hours. It is 3 o'clock Central Time. I don't know what time we'll be live. Let's say 5 o'clock Central Time. Jacob will be live. Oh my gosh, you love the lives. Guys, thank you very much. I got to go. We will be back in a few hours. Save up your questions, 2.5 hours. Jacob will be live in 2.5 hours. If you have questions, let us know. Thank you very much. I feel the love. We appreciate the love. We appreciate the support. If you want to donate, we have a link. You want to do a super chat, do a super chat. You guys are more than generous. It is appreciated. I hope you all make a fortune, and I will be back watching Jacob's live stream in just a few hours. Thank you all very, very much.